Well, folks, in today's video we're going to be running all my GP-40 locomotives. These are all the GP-40 diesels which I've collected throughout the years, including my very first locomotive, which happens to be this lifelike Canadian National GP-40, which I got as a Christmas gift all the way back in about 2006. Anyway, out of these engines we'll run whatever can run. I'm going to put these four aside right here because these are actually all dummy locomotives. As you can see, they're all freewheeling, so there wouldn't be really any point of trying to run them because, well, they obviously wouldn't run. This one, though, is sort of special because this is actually the head locomotive in the 1985 movie Runaway Train. So this is sort of my mock of that. I've got the other locomotives, but this is the head one, and as you can see, it's been decorated all up with the Alaska snow on it, so I just thought I'd point that out for anyone who doesn't know that. Anyway, out of this, some of these are definitely broken. I'm sure I picked them up. They have problems with their trucks, but we'll test them all and see what runs. So let's get started. So we're going to begin with my Bachman Locomotive. I got this one in the starter set back in 2012. It's number 6067. I'm pretty sure this one runs, however, it's got a major problem because, as I remember, this thing fell off the table and broke one of its trucks. And it's a Bachman, so it has the kind of sensitive trucks. Yeah, you can hear that's definitely not right, so we're not going to run that one much more. But, yeah, we'll get around to fixing this one at some point. Next up is the Canadian Pacific, number 8210. It's in the really old style of paint scheme, which I love. I got this as a gift from my grandparents all the way back in either 2007 or 8, so I've had it for a while, hence why there's a bit of damage on it. It's actually in pretty good shape considering how much I used it, but anyway, if we try to give this thing some power, as you can see, it boots to life. And this one's actually DCC, so it has directional lighting, which is sort of cool. So yeah, that one's still running just fine for itself. So that's pretty cool. And next off is this really sharp-looking RF&P locomotive. I don't know a ton about this locomotive. I bought it at a train show in around 2014 for, I believe, $20, which I thought was a pretty good deal. It was made by Atlas, and judging by the looks of it, I think it's actually relatively old. But last I remember, this thing did run, so we'll see. It runs fine, actually. The current's not too high. I don't remember this thing running this well. It's a little loud, but it's hopping along there. The light works. Okay, it's a little rough at the higher speeds, but hey, it runs. And next up we've got another Bachmann Santa Fe Locomotive. I believe this is actually a earlier model of the Santa Fe engine I was trying to run earlier. You can see it's actually got the exact same road number. The paint scheme is a bit different, but it's quite similar in a lot of ways. I'm pretty sure this one doesn't work. We've got a working headlight. Yeah, that one's not got... that one doesn't run. Future restoration, I guess. And next up is my beloved lifelike Canadian National Locomotive. As you can see, this thing is really not in good shape. I just ran it so much as a kid, and I tried to glue parts back on, and as you can see, I got glue in the window there and stuff like that, and the horns are missing. And I'm pretty sure a couple of years ago I was trying to run this thing and it had a transmission problem. Take that back, it's running fine. The old bird's still got it. Alright, so even after all those years of me running the crap out of it as a kid, it's still alive and kicking. Keep on running. And now we've got our lifelike Santa Fe Locomotive. I bought this thing at, I believe the name of the store was Arnie's Trains, back in April 2013 when I visited LA. This thing actually cost me, I think it was $8, which was a pretty good deal. Anyway, I don't know if it runs. This one seems to have some sort of issue. It's getting power, but the motor is not firing to life there, so I guess this one does not run. And next off is this Bachmann Canadian Pacific locomotive with the Pac-Man style paint scheme. This was, I believe, actually my dad's first locomotive there. And it's had countless trips to the hobby shop over the years. It's broken many times, but I was running it relatively recently, and as you can see, it's still alive and kicking there. A little bit loud, but runs fine. The motor even runs relatively efficiently, so yeah, I guess it's still got a lot of life in it. And next off, we've got this old British Columbia locomotive from Lifelike. I actually got this locomotive for free in a lot of trains given to me by some friends. This thing was, I decided it was the worst locomotive in my collection, and I made a video about that at some point in the spring of last year. The funny thing is, since then I've done a lot of work on it, and it went from being a horrible runner that was in poor condition to actually a fairly decent runner. And I actually really like this locomotive. I know it's in terrible shape. I didn't do this damage, by the way, if that's what you're thinking. It was all done by the previous owner. But it has a story to tell, and I guess that's what I like about it. Anyway, if we give it some power, you can see it fires to life no problem. And the motor doesn't run the most efficiently, but it used to use a lot. It used to take a lot more power to get this thing to run. But through cleaning and lubricating it, I've actually got it running somewhat decently, so yeah, it's pretty cool. So that's that locomotive. And here we've got our Bachmann Cien locomotive. It's actually quite a pretty engine, although I'm pretty sure it has some problems. I got it at a train show way back in 2010. I think it was 2010, maybe it was 2011. I honestly can't remember. I don't remember how much it cost either, but it fell off the layout at one point, so it does run, but it doesn't sound too healthy. So at some point we're going to have to fix this one up as well, but it does kind of run, and it'd be worth fixing up too because it's DCC, and again, it's a great looking engine, so at some point, unfortunately it's got that Bachmann truck problem that seems to happen when these get bumped too hard. And here's my Quebec and Gatineau one. It's a really cool engine because this is actually a local railway, and back when I was a kid being around 2008, these were actually still running in Gatineau, so I remember seeing these once in a while. Anyway, Atlas had a limited run a few years ago, and 2011, and my parents got me one as a gift that Christmas. So here it is. I believe this thing still runs, if I'm not mistaken. It's obviously not in very good shape, and that's just because I ran it a lot. Yeah, but still mechanically sound on the inside. Very quiet, too. Even after all those years of use, it's still running fairly efficiently too, so that's quite nice. Really nice locomotive, and quite well made in my opinion. Believe me, it's stood the test of time pretty well. And here's the chassis system locomotive. I got this one at a train store, Coins and Hobbies in Vermont, I believe it is. For $70, and it came with a dummy engine and a caboose, which I thought was a pretty good deal. It's an okay engine, although it has transmission problems. I also discovered when I opened it up some point, probably about a year ago, this thing's only four-wheel drive, even though it has all-wheel pickup and a motor. I don't know what's going on. The coupler's stuck. Try running it backwards here. Yep, it runs. You can see it makes some sort of funny noises there, which is a little strange because this is not one of my oldest engines, but it runs. It needs some work. And here's my old Bachman Union Pacific locomotive. I bought this, I believe, the same day at the same train store as I did that chassis system engine. I'm pretty sure this one doesn't run either. Yeah, not starting. Oh well. Cool little engine though. And last but not least is Bachmann Bnsf 3001. I really wanted this thing as a kid back in 2011, and I asked for it for Christmas, and my parents got it for me as a gift, and I was thrilled. I was so excited to get this little train set because I was at a rental house and I didn't have my layout, and I really like this engine, you know, because it was something that I wanted, you know, and it was just so exciting Christmas morning getting to run it around there. But also, it's the only Bachmann engine I've bought in recent years that has run without any issues. This thing has run like an absolute tank, and still to this day, it runs perfectly. It's not the quietest engine. Its wheels are actually, I think, quite dirty, but it doesn't have any transmission problems. The motor runs very efficiently, actually, as you can see there, and yeah, I've never had to take this thing to the hobby shop once, and I've used it so much throughout the years, and it's never gone bust on me, so I have to give credit where credit is due. I don't know what Bachmann did differently with this one, but I've dropped this one a couple times over the years, and nothing's broken on it. Maybe it's just dumb luck. Maybe they built this one differently. I don't know. Whatever the case, it's a great engine. Well, that's going to be it for all the GP-40s. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching.